I guess today I'm going to finally finish my series on GOREGRIND. Now the first video, y'all probably watched, right? The one on European GOREGRIND. And then the second one I did was on the US, the American GOREGRIND. It soon spread to America, but after that it spread beyond those borders as well. But as you can imagine, since we're dealing with the 1990s, there's only a handful of countries which produced a GOREGRIND Act, which is of at least quality enough to be listed here. We're going to start over in Japan. The band called Gore Beyond Necropsy. Now, I was familiar with this band early on in my exploration of extreme metal, so to speak, but coupled with the artwork and the name of the band, it just never really sparked my curiosity enough to at least, I don't know, spend $15, $18, probably more than that with shipping and handling back then, for a CD which I think doesn't even amount to like 20 minutes of music. But now that almost everything is at your fingertips, it's well worth checking out. I do believe this was the very first GOREGRIND band from Japan, so there's that. I'm going to give you a sample here. Check it out. Let me know what you think. What'd you think of that? Definitely more in the gore noise category, wouldn't you say? Definitely GOREGRIND, but a lot of gore noise influences on that. So I can understand if you didn't really dig that. Their first album, I believe, was a split with Merzbow, who I was familiar with back in the day, so that really didn't entice me to listen to them any earlier than I did, which was about 5 years ago, and I guess it is what you get, 60 songs across like 20-some minutes, something like that. But we're going to move a little further south now. We're going down to Australia for this band called Vomited Corpulance. Now, you know, before I tell you about them, I want you to listen. I don't want to cloud your judgment. Just check out their sound. Now, the piece that I was holding back from you, that's actually a Christian band. I know, odd, right? I did a piece on Australian Christian metal, a little sidebar when I was doing the Australian death metal video. Check that one out. I mean, for whatever reason, Australia seems to put out decent Christian metal of all varieties. I mean, think like Horde and Mortification. What was that Doom Death band? Paramecium? And then this one in the GOREGRIND category. I don't know, all quality stuff. Are there other GOREGRIND Christian bands? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And now over to Brazil, we have a very simply titled band here, Gore. How appropriate, right? Now they released a series of demos in the early 90s, but I'm going to go with their release from 96. Now, as soon as you started off, you may notice Pinhead with one of his most famous lines there. But the same year Grave did that with on their album Hating Life. I do enjoy that Grave album a lot. I know people they like the early Grave and they don't like when they took on the death and roll influences, whatever. Another tangent. Anywho, I am going to do a Swedish death metal video at some point, and it is going to kick ass. I'm going to show you stuff that you don't even know. But in the meantime, check out Brazilian Gore from 96. All right, and up north from there we have Mexico. This is more or less, I would think, a meme band, or at least people categorize it as a meme band. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. It's a medical term. Obviously, carcass influence there, and they're just taking it to the next step. And in the sound, there's carcass influence also, but it goes beyond that. And this demo from '99, referencing a particular act, it's actually what I find their best release, at least from what I've heard. I haven't like thoroughly listened to everything, but for me, this really stood out. And there's some female vocals in there also, which could be out of place for some of y'all. But I like the little change, the differences. Otherwise, it just ends up being a wall of sound sometimes. So yeah, check out this meme band.
My sleep, searching for more. My organs, Israel, you are my obsession. Suck me.
Now we're going to head back over to Japan. In '96, Catasexual Urge Motivation. Yeah, there's an acronym there. These guys were miles ahead of whatever that Gore Beyond Necropsy was doing. I mean, if you like those micro songs, I mean, that's your shit. That ain't my shit. This is my shit, actually. This is an hour of gore grind with a lot of variation, variety, musicality. This is top tier gore grind stuff. This is, if it's not S tier, it's knocking on the door S tier right there. Check this out. It's quality. All right, and now if you diligently watch my videos, which I'm sure you do, you will have already predicted what the answer to this one is. I did a series, or I started to do a series on bands with identical names and then comparing which one I enjoy more. The last video didn't do too well, so I'm going to stay away from that for a little while, finish some of these other series. This will complete the Gore Grind. And I do have to finish the Crust Punk also, so I do owe you guys that. But if you haven't guessed, the first one that I did for comparing two different bands with the same name was Disgorge, and I love the Mexican Disgorge. So, not to repeat myself, but check it out. And as I always do, you get 3 top 6 lists. So this next one, I'm going to do the post-2000 GOREGRIND releases from beyond Europe and America. So, you know, all these countries that I've mentioned and some more. So the top 6 post-2000 GOREGRIND releases, neither from a European nation or the United States. Here you go. So I owe you one more top 6 list. I mentioned Gore noise earlier, so I think I'm going to give you my top 6 noise releases. Now, hold on. It's just going to be across the board. Noise releases, regardless of the era, probably a little lean heavier into the 90s, as I tend to. You give me a minute to think about this. So, obviously I'm going to have to do something by AC, right? I don't know. I'll pick one and put it on the screen here. I used to be a pen pal with Seth Putnam. He would write like paragraphs and paragraphs. I would feel guilty like responding with 1 or 2 paragraphs. Probably on meth or something, right? I've been to the food court where Josh Martin learned to fly. I don't go there anymore. They don't have a Popeye's chicken. No reason to go there anymore. I used to bring my own tomato and cut it up to add to the chicken because for whatever reason theirs wasn't the greatest. But now that I think about it, I probably shouldn't have been carrying a knife into a mall, right? All right, another noisecore release. Let's see. Does Melt Banana count? Certainly some of their stuff. That kind of goes to show that there is a lot of variety in this genre, despite it being called noisecore. A little bit more classic release, I think, would be Fear of God, a Swiss band. There was a lot of different extreme music coming out of Switzerland, late 80s, early 90s. I did record a video on the black metal scene from that era. Never released it. A couple years ago. Still have it. I wasn't confident with the amount of information I had about what was going on at that time. Coroner and Messiah come to mind immediately for me when I think of Switzerland. So I want to give you some of the hidden gems in Switzerland from their early thrash scene that aren't either of those two more well-known bands. I mean, was Switzerland more influenced by France, Germany, Italy? Or are they something wholly unto themselves, or maybe a unique combination of all? If you know anything about the Swiss extreme music scene around that era, let me know in the comments, or direct me to a website or a book or something on it. Should I put that Swiss black metal video out regardless? Let me know. Once again, another tangent. Noisecore. Alright, so halfway. Another one I'd suggest is maybe 7 Minutes of Nausea. Check it out. It kind of takes what Fear of God did. Fear of God took Siege to the extreme, I'd say, and then 7 Minutes of Nausea took Fear of God to the extreme. It's like 300 songs in 6 minutes or something ridiculous like that. I think even before AC or some of them other bands started doing that. Check it out for what it is. Australian band. And let's see, another one. Oh yeah, I don't remember the name of the band. I'll put it on here. With the Osama bin Dickhead picture. I think it was like an early meme picture before it was used as the album cover. I've seen it in other contexts. All right, one more. I'll think of one more for you, a good one. All right, so one more. That Japanese band. It starts with a G. I think they came out before Fear of God. I can't remember the name. You can tell I'm doing this on the fly here. I'll put it on the screen there. Are they even music? That post music by that point? I mean, is it relevant at all? I don't know. Is any music relevant anymore? I think we've done everything, right? Is any music relevant anymore? I think we've done everything, right? Music died. I declared it dead.